What's the best way for an INFJ to relax and have fun? And what role does extroverted sensing play in the process? Stay tuned for today's show to find out. Just today, I received a comment from a reader who shared that she'd finally understood a lifelong mystery. The reason why her family could relax on vacations and she never could. She realized that the sensors in her family enjoyed the waves, the sand, the sun, and the boardwalk at the beach. But what she really desired was creativity. She wanted to be able to imagine and play with her dolls when she was young, or to write, or to draw. Anything that allowed her to be truly her. INFJs are wired differently than most people in the world, so it's important that you understand the way your mind works if you really want to relax and have fun. And a great place to start is in understanding the way your personality is wired. Your personality, like the other 15 Myers-Briggs personalities, is made up of 4 cognitive functions. I like to think of them as mindsets because they are the way we see the world. They influence how we interact with other people and our goals and just the way we process the world around us. And each of these 4 functions has a position in a hierarchy, meaning they're arranged in power order, where the first is the strongest and the last is the weakest. So your specific INFJ functions are the following: introverted intuition first, extroverted feeling second, introverted thinking third, and extroverted sensing fourth. You'll probably notice that there are 2 that are introverted in nature and 2 that are extroverted in nature. And this provides balance in your personality because we all need to function in the inner world of thoughts and ideas and in the outer world of relationships and action. Pulling up the rear again is extroverted sensing, and this function has a lot to do with your relaxation and fun. Even though it's the last function in your personality, it still carries a lot of weight and has a strong appeal. During the time that most INFJs are wrapping up high school or entering college or just trying to decide what they're going to do as adults entering the work world, extroverted sensing has an especially strong magnetism and makes them want to spend an inordinate amount of time developing this function. But it's never really a good idea because introverted intuition will always be number 1 and the source of their greatest strengths. And spending too much time on extroverted sensing, while it can be enjoyable, will be less fruitful than investing in introverted intuition. That said, it's unwise to throw the baby out with the bathwater because extroverted sensing will always occupy an important place in your personality, and namely, that's in the role of helping you relax and have fun. You can even notice when extroverted sensing appears in your day. For most INFJs, that's at the end of the day. Elaine Shalick of PersonalityJunkie.com has this great theory that states a person moves through each of the functions in his or her personality from morning to evening in the order that the functions appear. And this has been my experience. So, for example, you'd start with introverted intuition, then move to extroverted feeling in the late afternoon, and into introverted thinking toward the end of the workday, and then you'd spend the evening more engaged in extroverted sensing. So that would make sense, especially if that's the time of the day where you like to unwind and relax after working. So if pouring a ton of time into developing extroverted sensing is the wrong approach, what then is the right approach? The answer? It's when you're using it in conjunction with introverted intuition. You see, there's nothing wrong with extroverted sensing. It's a big part of you, but you don't want to zero in on it alone because you have this amazing gift in introverted intuition, your ability to be creative, to make connections, to understand deep thoughts, to see the big picture of how the world works, and to have insights into others and what they're thinking, as well as your own thought processes, among other things. When you use introverted intuition and extroverted sensing together, the two actually support each other, and extroverted sensing allows you to relax and unwind and engage your body somewhat so that your mind can roam even more freely. It also gives color to your mental palette and allows it to think more clearly. Specifically, extroverted sensing is all about being engaged in the moment and taking in what's around you. That's in contrast to introverted intuition, which is a very futuristic function. So extroverted sensing is all about what it can taste, touch, see, smell, and hear. There are a number of ways that you can engage extroverted sensing in a healthy way that allows you to use your introverted intuition to the fullest. But before we get to those, I should also add it's also okay just to engage extroverted sensing from time to time, especially if you're doing it at the end of the day, because it gives your mind a break and allows you to enjoy what's around you. It also helps you see a fuller picture of the world and the wonderful things in it. So let's get really practical. How can you engage your extroverted sensing in a way that allows your introverted intuition to work even better, or that gives it a break? One of my personal favorites is exercising while listening to a book or podcast. I really enjoy this strategy because it allows me to stay active, but it also gives me a chance to learn. I'll often do this, listen to a book or podcast while doing the dishes or mowing the lawn or some other monotonous chore, because it allows me to engage my senses and think at the same time. You could be going on a hike. I have a colleague who will often do that. He'll walk through the woods and go on a hike each weekend, but he'll often carry an audiobook with him. However you want to do it, some way that will allow you to stay active and think at the same time. And you don't have to be listening to someone else. Maybe it's just carrying thoughts with you, a theory that you've been working on, or trying to piece together why a relationship is the way it is, or just processing your thoughts and feelings from the week can be a great activity while you're out exercising and enjoying what's around you. Now, in terms of a way to relax via extroverted sensing without worrying about introverted intuition, although you can't ever really quite completely separate the two, but if you were to focus on extroverted sensing, these are some other popular ways that you could relax or have fun. One is, again, just to go for a walk outside. Now, you could go someplace exotic, like a beautiful park or a vista or some foreign getaway, or you could just go outside around the neighborhood on a nice day. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Another thing you could do is to participate in some kind of sport or group activity. And I know that a lot of INFJs really enjoy team sports because it allows them to stay fit and active, to engage their extroverted sensing, but it also allows them to engage their extroverted feeling and to be part of a team accomplishing a greater goal as a unit. But you don't even have to be moving around to engage your extroverted sensing. It may just be listening to new music. And that's something that I personally love to do. Whenever I'm working, I often have music playing in the background because, as is probably the case for you, it enhances my thinking depending on the task. And new music is particularly important because I get excited about different kinds of sounds and new artists, and keeping it the same all the time is monotonous. So give yourself a chance to explore different kinds of music in different genres and different areas if you're not already doing so. Speaking of music, another way you can get more than one sense involved is to learn an instrument. So if you want to get into hearing and seeing and touching all at once, then learn to play the piano or learn to play the guitar or learn to play some other great instrument. It'll be a great extroverted sensing experience for you. And in terms of taste and smell, your good old olfactory glands, then consider going to a bakery or going out to eat at an exotic restaurant or just trying new foods. I know this is one of my favorite, to try different cultural foods. It's a great way to engage your extroverted sensing without it being too overwhelming, and just extend your experiences, your palate, and the way you see the world and the beautiful things in it. And I'll add one more, and that's just to try different textures. So if you enjoy animals, you may want to pet different kinds of animals, or lay down in the grass, or you touch the trees as you're walking through the woods, or try wearing a different type of shirt or pants or whatever. Wear comfortable clothes. Find ways to engage touch, and that'll do your extroverted sensing good as well. Want to learn more about your INFJ personality? Then I'd love to give you a free copy of my book, The INFJ Personality Guide, which will help you better understand yourself, reach your potential, and live a life of purpose. This guide will help you understand the cognitive functions that drive your personality, as well as the preferences that make it up. It'll also give you some insight into common INFJ challenges and ways to overcome those challenges. If you'd like to have an absolutely free copy of this book, text the letters INFJ to the number 444999. Or you can visit ispeakpeople.com/INFJ-personality-guide. You can find that link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for watching this video today. I hope that you found it helpful. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to do that. I'm creating new content each and every week for INFJs just like you. Additionally, if you thought of other ways that INFJs can engage their extroverted sensing, or you have some favorites that you'd like to share, I encourage you to drop them in the comments below for others to benefit from. Thanks again for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you on the next show.